everyone, it's Jen here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this little kitten here. I got this reference off Unsplash, which is a royalty-free reference site, which I use quite a lot. It's lovely. It's lots of fun and you get lots of beautiful photographs to use. So I'm going to start. I'm going to pick a pen. I'm just going to go find like a pen, like a monoline pen like that. And I'm going to start by drawing the outside of the kitten. I'm going to look at the shapes. I'm going to draw the head first. I always start with the head and then work my way around. So, and kittens have very soft, round little faces. Then the ear goes forward there, like that. Now, I measure everything against the head of the kitten. So the head, oops, if you look at my pen, the head is that long. So then I use that, and the head and the neck down the back, down to the tail. So it's 4 times the length of his head. So if I go like that on there, I know it's 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and his tail will disappear off out the back there. So that's about 1 length of the head. So if I go like that, it's 1 length. Then his back is 1.5. So I'll go like that, and then I'll go 1.5. So it's about there. Whoops. 1.5. And then his tail disappears off the page. Whoops. His little neck comes down and under there. So you're just looking at the shapes. I literally break them down, break all my drawings down into the shapes. Now his leg is the same length as the width of his head. So I measure his head to behind his ears, and that's the length of his leg. His leg's a little bit tucked up there. He's got his shoulder like that. Like that. You can just see that leg's a little bit forward and a little bit bent. And he's got his back legs tucked up under his bot. Like that, and around. He's sort of crouched, like that. I can actually make him smaller. I'm going to try and make him smaller. Oh, hang on, go freehand, like that. I just want to make him a little bit smaller so he fits all on the page. Make him smaller, like that. That way he'll fit on the page. And I've got to make his tail a little bit lower. So I'll hit the eraser and just erase that. A couple of lines that I've put on there. And I'll go back and just draw them in again. Make his tail on more of a down angle, like that. Just like that. Now have a look, getting a bit closer on the little picture. His eye. It's like that. His little nose. It's like that. And that's basically his little outline. Can I see the other leg? I can see the other leg at the back there. He looks like he's ready to pounce. Like that. Okay, so now we can start. So that's his basic sort of shape. It's an unusual sort of position. Actually, I've got to make his back a bit flatter. It can take a little while sometimes to get everything where you want it. So now I'm seeing the shapes against each other, like that. I'm going to erase his tummy, start that again. I got the rough shapes down, and now I'm just adjusting things where I want them. I'm going to get rid of the front of that leg. I got his leg too big. Like that. That's a bit better. And his fluffy bit comes down the back. I'm going to erase this bit, tidy that up, like that. Then his little backside comes down there, his tail drops down from there. There we go. He's got a fluffy tail, it comes right down to there, like that. Okay. So now I'm going to I'll draw the rock that he's sort of standing on. Can't see that other foot, it's down in there, like that. Okay, that's the basic sort of shape. Now I'm going to go in with a colour. You can't really see his oops, doesn't want to enlarge. There we go. Can't really see the details, but I'll start to draw his fur in. I'm going to go with my recent brushes, and I'll pick a nice basic soft brush like that. And I'm going to start. I can make this one a bit bigger now and add a little bit of colour in. I'm not worrying about layers so much. Actually, I don't like that colour. I'm going to go to my colour wheel and just change that to more of an orangey colour. More of an orangey golden colour. Like that. I reckon that's a bit better. So even though I picked the colours from the photo, I wasn't 100% happy with them. So I'm just going to fill in, just block in these colours. Oops. What happened then? Go back to that colour. And I'm going to fill all of this in. I'm going to blend it, soften it out so it looks softer. I'll add fur detail over the top. Just like that. So I just soften all that out. You can see that makes it a nice diluted sort of a colour. But it spreads it out and gets rid of the pen marks. Like that. And I'll just work around the whole body of the cat pretty much. I'll go around the outside of the line. Because I'm not doing a lot of layers, I'll just blend out over the edges of the fur. I'm just going to scribble in and fill this all in like that, and I can blend and it'll fill in just lightly like that. Blend it all together and I'll go over it. So the first layer is just blocking in really, and the next layer is adding detail. This is like what you do if it would be like a wash. Just follow right round. You can see his fur's all fluffy around his back. I make my brush a bit bigger because I want to fill in quite a lot at once. Just makes it easier. Filling quite a lot at once, so I just made my brush bigger. Down here, like that. And I'll add layers over the top. Okay, get my blending tool, make it a bit bigger. Go in the direction of the fur. Blend it the direction of the fur, because that way you don't get any really weird looking patterns like that. Come down the legs, and that just drags that little bit of colour that's on there down the legs. Soften all that off like that. Take it right down the tip of the tail. Okay, that's roughed in. So now I'm going to do the eye. I'm going to go back to my line pen. I'm going to go into a dark colour, and I'm going to colour in the pupil, because you can't see much. I'm going to zoom in on the reference. It's more of an oval shape. So the whole time I am just looking at shapes. I'll add a bit of a highlight on the top, like that, because you can see there's a little highlight there, like that. She's got quite light around her eye. I'm just going to go into that light colour now, and I'm going to make a little bit of a darker one, because you can see, whoops, she's got strong. I'm going to get my other brush, my basic brush. Oops, not that big. Make it a bit smaller. Oops. And come down. I'm looking at the colours on her little face now. And I can start to draw in some of the tabby pattern. got a little nose there. Oh, I'm going to blend out that a little bit, make that a little bit softer there, like that. So I'm just blocking in at the moment. I'll soften it a little bit, just so I've got a bit more detail there. And I'm going to grab, what brushes have I got? I'm going to get like this, I'm going to go, let's have a look at my sketching brushes. I'll try and find one that's like a hairbrush. Ergo Sketch. This is Ergo Josh's Designs. I love the Ergo Josh pens. I just got to find, there's a hair rake. That gives you a soft line. So I'll make it a bit bigger, like that. No, so I don't like that. It's not the one I'm after. There's another one somewhere in amongst all this that I will find. That's the hair rake, straight hair. Go for that one. It's a bit thicker. That's a bit better. And that gives me, so then I go over the top of all of this fur. It's a bit shorter on the back of the head there. Again, being careful to remember, go the direction the fur goes. Had to turn on my air conditioner, sorry about that. It's getting a bit hot in here. Okay, so I'll continue around. And I just fill in all the fur, being careful to take note of the direction. Like that. Up onto the back of the ear. And the fur goes down that way on the bottom of the neck. Like that. And I'm just going to work my way around the whole cat. I can see I've got to change the shape of his neck a little bit. Just keep the strokes short. Rather than doing individual strokes. That's why I recommend the Ergo Josh brushes. They're really good. This is just a basic hairbrush. Whoops. Undo is just double tap. Continue on. And if I was doing this with traditional brushes, I would use just a soft sort of an acrylic brush that was a little bit sort of splayed at the edges. So I'm just going to go over all of this, and I'll add the lighter colours, his highlights and stuff, and his white stripes at the end. He's much darker down here, but for now I'm just going to use this same colour. Again, being careful to go the direction of the fur. He's got white at the bottom of his feet, but that's okay. I'll just come down his chest like that. Continue down here. And you can see I'm just working, I do the base colour, which is the under layer. Then I start to add detail over the top. So there's a bottom layer, the drawing, a bottom layer, a middle layer, and detail. And that's pretty much how I work with everything. Just being careful to take note of the direction of the fur on these legs. And because I've done it all on one layer, I'm going to have to erase the outside edge of the drawing. But I can do that very carefully. Again, just following the direction the fur goes. Like that. Down onto the feet. That one's at the back there. Then I come down onto the tail. Watching the direction of the fur, like that. I'm not going to worry so much about the background. I'm just showing you how to draw a cat, how I draw a kitten. And I use this technique for any animal. I start with the head and I measure everything against the head. And it's just looking at shapes and looking at angles. Being very careful to look at shapes and angles the whole time. So now I'm going to go back into my lighter colours. And I'm going to go back to that light colour. And I'm going to add, come back and add the lighter colour. Actually, I might make it a little bit lighter than that onto the back. And it probably need to, oops, need to do a bit of a background just to help to make him stand out a little bit, but I can do that towards the end. So now you can see I'm going the direction of the fur and I'm just looking at the shape of the highlights on his coat. And I can see he's got a stripe of light colour down the top at the back, so I'll add that stripe of light colour down the top of the back, just like that. And all the way down, all the way. His feet are light, so I can use this lighter colour onto his feet. Like that. And onto his ears, go into that other ear. And I've got to add an even lighter colour again. I'm just going to add some of these ripples of his tabby colour, because you can see he's got them on his legs, and it comes down and then goes up and meets into his back hair there. And again, looking at the shape, and it helps you follow the shape of the legs, because his legs are sort of curled around, so the fur curls around like that. Then he's got stripes. You can see just faint stripes on his tail, and then the end of his tail's quite light. He's got these stripes on his legs, the lighter colour. And then he's got on his shoulder a lot lighter. He's got light up around his ear, on the front of his face, down the tip of his nose, and coming down under here. You can see I'm slowly getting rid of the underdrawing. I'll just do the fluff on his chest. The fluff on his tum is lighter, like that. Okay, now I can go in with a little bit of a darker colour. So go back into that colour. I'm going to go make it a bit stronger, a little bit darker. And see, look for any of the darker shapes. Like that, remembering to follow the direction of the fur. He's got just like a darker line coming down here. He's darker fur here, going back that way, like that. He's got a little bit darker coming down beside his nose. Gonna fill in under his chin a little bit, just darken that up, like that. Darker on his tum. It's down here. And he's got quite a dark spot here, or dark fur around his middle. So I'm looking for darks and lights. And these reference photos are really good because a lot of people edit out, when they edit their photos, they edit out brights and darks, and everything ends up looking flat. So it's always good to look for something that's got contrast and colour differences. Like this has got good shadow under the legs and under the backs of his legs. So when I'm looking for a reference, I'm looking for contrast, and I'm looking for something to draw. He is darker around this whole part of his face, actually. So I'll darken this up just here, just a bit. I'll just do it softly, fill in. You can see he is quite shadowed underneath, under there, like that. And he's got light. I'm going to go back to that light colour. And it keeps them in the memory of the pattern of your palette. It keeps all the colours you've just recently used. So I'm actually going to use that grey colour and come down here. Actually, it's not light enough. I'm going to go back into the light there and just come down the back of his ear like that. And he's got real highlights on the backs of his ears. And coming around the front. I'm going to do a green background, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer. I'll go background colour, and I'm going to make the background colour, that green. And then I'm going to go back and I'll leave that like that. And then I can go over, I'll add some darks and stuff in a minute. So you can see how I've missed quite a lot of colour on the cat. So I'm going to go back in. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Okay, so if I take the background away, then I'm just left with a kitten. That's really cute, isn't it? Okay, so I'll leave that there, and I'm just going to work over the top and build up these layers, or I'll actually blend some of this and then go back in and re-add over the top of the green. As you can see where I've left. Actually, I'll go back. Where are we? What colour am I going to use? I'm going to use that middle colour. Fill that in again. Like that. And down his face. Fill that in. Come right down the edge of his chin. And just build up layers of fur. Always remembering going the direction of the fur. Continue on down and around, like that, all the way down. I'm going to go into that lighter colour now, because you can see this leg, the front leg, it's got lots of light fur down the front of that leg and onto the paw. The paw comes down like that, and then the front of this leg, and she's got a white paw on this foot. Doesn't have to be detailed yet, I'm just blocking in the shapes. That foot is a bit darker underneath. I'm going to add the highlight on the top of the nose like that. She does have the highlight on the top of the nose. And I can see I've got to change the shape of the head just a little, so I'm going to erase that bit because she's got that shape. Take the top of that off so it's not quite so, whoops-a-days, not quite so, whoops, so steep an angle. And then I've got to draw the white fur on the ear in. Like that. And that ear comes down a little bit at the front as well. She's got white behind the eye, a little bit of light colour fur behind the eye. A little bit of light coloured fur coming down her shoulder and onto her back. Add this darker colour. I'll go to there and then I'll go into the darkers like that and just add this little stripe, little tabby stripe across there because I can see it's got it like that. Might even make that a bit darker, go into the browns more, into a stronger brown. That's better, a bit more contrast. Then draw some fur in. Coming down and around. Excuse my dogs. I've got that ear fur coming too far back. I'm just going to blend that out a fraction. Like that. Go back into my lights. Excuse my little dog. It's a chatterbox. Yeah, that's a better angle. I'm going to get my pen back, go into my recents, and it'll save all my brushes that I've used just recently there. And I'm going to draw, make the kitten's whiskers a bit thinner, because I can see he's got his whiskers like that. And that looks cuter already. And I'll draw a little, because I can see he's got a very bright little line of fur across the top. So you can add the absolute finest detail. I'm going to add a little bit of soft fur around the top of the face. I've got to add the little nosy bit. So I'm going to go to the brown. I'm going to go into a really dark brown and add her little nose. And you can see a little mouth that it comes about there. Like that. I'm just going to suggest it. It doesn't have to be exact. Got my monoline pen. Like that. Then I'm going to zoom in on her little eye a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of light around her eye. As you can see, she's got light. Go to the soft brush again. Go to recent. Go to straight hair. And right around that outside edge, it's lighter. She's got a little bit of light under there. And light coming all the way down here. So you can see I'm just working my way around now and picking out detail. And you can see she's got wild fairy hair coming down there. Quite strong hair coming down the front of the leg. Like that. I'll connect that fur in like that. And just soften it up there. Come down here. I can blend that out a little bit. I can see where I need to add darker hair and everything. White fur there, lighter fur, not white fur, lighter fur. Lighter patch there, lighter patch coming down here, and then darker. So what I can also do is go back, just having a look at this colour. It's that colour. And I'm going to go back in now and add some of the, oh actually, maybe it's more like that colour. What it is, there's the same colour. Yeah, we'll stay with that one. And we'll work the fur in around these shoulders again. Let's get this fur around the back of his little head. I'm going to go to this dark colour onto his furry bits on his leg, because you can see when you look close they're quite dark, these tabby colours on his legs. Whoops. Like that. And he's got that dark colour that comes around the front, then goes up. He's got dark on the bottom of this front leg, of his back leg, the front of his back leg, I'm trying to say. That comes up here. And there's a strip of fur coming up there. Quite dark on the back of that foot. And down the back of that other foot. Okay, I'm going to go a bit lighter and then add into here. So I just took that colour back a few tones, went into a slightly lighter tone. I'm going to follow that round. I'm looking at the direction the fur goes. It goes down his belly like that. Down and around. And it's just layers. It's layers and layers and layers. It's exactly the same. Like I try not to use the app layers. I tend to just do all my layers. I do everything on one layer on the painting, but I treat it traditionally. I treat my art very traditional. I find it worked with my technique better. Okay, so he's got a bit of a line, just a soft line of, you can see his chest and everything under there. A little bit of a shadow in here. A little bit of a shadow under his feet. Like that. See one toe there. That back leg on the other side is almost all in shadow. Like that. I'm going to go back to that middle sort of a brown and draw this fur on his leg here. I'm just looking at the shapes of the colours now. He's got a bit of colour coming, a bit of dark coming down here. Like that. And he's got a lot more of the lighter fur over the top. I'm going to make that brush bigger. Then go over the top. Actually, I'll make it that lighter colour. So I'll go into that colour and then I'll make it lighter. Like that. And go over the top and add this fur texture back. Over the top. Like that. Then go the light. Whoops. Now he's got white fuzz on the front of his toes. I'll make that brush a bit smaller. Double tap to delete. Get that white fluff back on his front of his toes. On the front of these toes as well. I'm going to bring that light down. Add a bit more fur texture. Go into the browns. And bring that down his tail and add that into the patterns like that. I'll blend that a bit more, make it a bit softer. Actually, I'm going to undo that and go a bit lighter, a little bit lighter than that, just a little bit. Go back into the lights, there we go. Just still darker, but not quite as dark as I had it. And just do that in amongst the pattern like that. I could come up here and do it onto this fur here as well and onto his shoulder here. And he's starting to come to life a little bit now. Starting to look cute. Starting to. A little bit of darker fur coming down here. A little bit of darker fur in here. A little bit of darker under the nose. A little bit of darker up there. And I reckon that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. For a sketch, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to draw this rock. I'm going to go in with a light grey. I'll go in with a middle grey. I'm just going to get a soft brush, basic soft brush. I'm going to draw this rock in, just the one that he's standing on in the reference, like that. I'm just going to do that down there, and I'll fill all that in. So I'll just make my brush big, fill that in, like that. Just block her in. Like that. Keep going around all the way to the bottom like that. Okay, Then I'm going to add some darker grey up the bottom edge. You can see it's darker right under the cat. And then there's like a line there. That rock ends there. Comes up here. Then there's, I'm going to blend that, make it all nice and soft. Make that blendy brush a bit bigger. Procreate is such an easy app to use. Okay. Now I'm going to add a bit of a darker grey again. Go into my darker greeny greys. And I can see it's darker down the front. It's darker in here. Very dark along the crack under the foot, right there. I'm going to undo that because I did that crack in the wrong spot. That crack's there, like that. And I'm looking at the shapes of the shadows. That goes around there like that. I'm going to blend that out, soften it. So it just, the rock's an effect. It's not, it doesn't have to be the focus of everything. Oops. Like that. It's got some lighter flecks on it down here. Like that. See, there's little flecks of the stone, of the granite sort of pattern. The front of this stone's got a few little flecks on it. And down under there. Like that. And right against that dark. I'm going to go super dark greeny grey. Right in close. Like that. And I'm not going to do a whole lot more than that when it comes to the stone. You don't need to. I can get an effect. I'm going to go down the front of that with a highlight. The front of that stone. Like that. I might see if there's a, let's have a look what there might be like an effect, what do you call it, go paints, see if there's just like a splattery looking one that I can, or charcoal might work. That'll work. Underwood, it's a charcoal, that'll give the effect. I'll drop the opacity down. So these are standard brushes that come with the app. And I'll just add that on. That just gives that rock that little bit of a light texture on the top, down the front, like that. I'll add a shadow in under there. And I'll go back to recent, get my basic brush, make it less opaque. And I'll make it a bit stronger, just under the feet. Whoop, what's happened there? Just under the feet, got a shadow, a bit stronger, like that. All right. A bit darker along there. Just fiddling now, just getting sort of a midish grey there. All right, now I'm going to soften up this background. So I'm going to go back to my first layer. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to go to my straight hair. I'm just going to draw in some darker green lines, just to model up this background. Or I'll even just use a soft brush. I'll just use my soft brush, and I'll oops. And I'll show you what I'll do. It's called like a bokeh effect. You just, whoops. Oh. Put the mark on the paper like that, because you can see there's darker patches in the background. I'll make that bigger actually. There's darker patches in the background, and I'll blend it. Make that bigger and blend it out, soften it right up, just to not have it one flat green. So it's not one flat green background. Like that. Bring it in close to the cat. Like that. Doesn't have to go right up to it, but close to it. Like that. Then I can do some lighter colours as well. Go with some lighter greens. You can see in the background there's little highlighty bits. They're subtle, but they're there. Then I'll blend those out like that. Just soften it, and it gives a slightly mottled background. More of a natural, not so flat background. I've got it tidy up now. I'm going to get my pen. I'm going to redraw in her little nose. Whoops. Like that. And then her little mouth comes down there. Oops. Hang on, I'm just going to blend. I'm going to blend this a little bit. Whoa! Your blending brush is still huge. I'm going to blend that out a fraction just to soften it. And then draw that back in. Get my little white whisker back, like that. And I can tidy up a little bit of her eye, around the edge of her eye. She's got, you can see she's got a highlight. Okay, so I am going to call that done for a fun little sketch. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to draw a cat, how to get the perspective and the measurements. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I had lots of fun. Nice, quick, simple sketch. Yeah, so I will see you all for the next video. Have an awesome day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you for the next video. Okie doke, I'll catch you next time.